Welcome back everyone. Today we're gonna play Harbor on Ascent. Today is day 32 of playing every agent on every map. And because Ascent is leaving soon, we have our second Ascent video in a row. Harbor on Ascent is in my opinion not really a great pick. Harbor is really good on certain other maps, for example Bind, Sunset, maybe as well like Abyss or Icebox and Breeze. But Ascent is not really a strong map for Harbor. Starting off with A-side defense. On A-side defense, you can throw a cascade in the beginning of the run like this one to stop the enemies from pushing fast. You have two options to combine that with something. Firstly, somebody holding here, because if the enemies peek out, they're going to be slowed and it's a free kill for your teammate here, especially if they have an AWP or something alongside of an AWP. Or you can combine that with a recon dart landing somewhere behind here and your team walking up here, especially good on an eco round, because if they get revealed back there, they're gonna turn around and then your wall drops and you can get some free kills on them. You can use a wall like this one, where you block off short and you block off main, so you can hold the people from main from coming out here, and you can have a teammate holding short from here. You can even cross over, get on top of these boxes. You have a good off angle on the people that are coming through the wall right here. This is pretty good if the enemies decide to split A, and it's just in general a pretty good defensive wall. Other ways to throw a similar wall is something like this, where you wall through main and you wall through tree right here, so that people can't really come out. This is really good to just hold from here, because you can hold up here, you can hold down here, you can even hold here in this corner, and everybody coming out is gonna get slowed, and in main it's obviously the same. Plus, you can also hide in the copy that you created right here with your wall. If the people decide to come out, you're not gonna get scanned by any recon util. And you have a pretty good spot behind the enemies and you can get some easy kills off of that. You can also do a similar thing on the other side at switch. When you throw a wall like this one, you create a cubby right here behind the switch and you can hide in here, wait for the wall to drop and then get some kills. It's a kind of a risky play, but if you feel confident in your aim, you can get a couple of kills off of it. And you can only use that like once or twice in a game, because after that they're gonna shoot the corners and you're gonna die pretty quickly. Let's say you want to retake A. You can use a harbor bubble, a cove right here, to take lower, focus on the people down here, over here, or even over here. Or you can use a wall like this one to split off backside from front side, and you can then drop down, focus on the people under, Chen, or even right here behind dice. Or you can use your wall in main like this one to cut off the people in main from the rest of the site, and then stop it with pressing the same bind as you have for your wall again, and main is perfectly walled off. If you want to use your wall on a retake for main, I'd recommend you use it from short right here, either like this. Or if you want to use it from heaven, use a cascade like this one, where you throw your cascade out first towards the side. You can then cross out, focus more on the people main, try to get over, and then use a wall like right here. Like this, you wall off main, but I'd recommend you do it from short either way. Other options you have is to section side off into a couple of pieces that are easier to take. For example, if your whole team is coming from tree, you can use a wall like this one to cut off sight into two parts. You just hold here, looks so nobody can come up here, and the rest of your team goes through tree, clears out Chen, and then tries either to defuse, if they're planted right here, and or tries to fight the rest of the site with a cascade like this in main. You can also section off backside from front side, like this, so the people in main are not going to be able to fight you pretty easily. This wall is not that good because the people can just walk through the wall, but if you have somebody just holding in heaven for the people to walk through, and if the enemies don't have a flash agent like a Yoru, KO, Sky, or even Reyna to flash through the wall, it's going to be pretty easy for you to get the kills on the people walking through the wall. Once you have taken site and you want to go for a defuse, I'd always recommend to use your bubble. If you still have it, it's a really good tool to at least get the half, because the enemies are not going to be able to destroy the bubble fast enough to get you off of the spike, unless they have like 3 people in main spamming it. But the rest of your team can then just hold the people in main and do a lot of damage to them, and you can just stick the defuse. If you want to take mid as a defender, I'd recommend either a wall like this one, where you wall through here and then wall through short, so the people here are going to be blocked off and then you can walk out. Or to use a cascade top mid from back here, like this, and then stop, and use a second one right here. Harbor is not as good as taking mid as many other smokes agents, because you can't really smoke off something really well. But if you want, if you have a teammate that asks for a smoke top mid, you can just use your wall in the beginning of the round, because it recharges pretty fast, and you're gonna have it for the retake. Other options for mid smokes, it works better if you're here in bottom mid, is one like this one, where you cascade top mid and you block them off, so it's not really a good way to get out of top mid for them. Or you even start in towards market, use your wall like this, and then wall off top mid. There's gonna be a small gap right here, so if your teammate is trying to go out of short, just tell them there's a gap. It's not the best wall you can do, and mid is generally something where Harbor struggles on this map. Something Harbor is, however, really good on is to stop the enemies from coming into market. You can use walls like these to block off short and market, and your teammate can even walk out here. And if they are coming through these walls without any flashes or reveals, you're gonna have an easy time killing them, because you're gonna see their gun first, and you can just shoot them pretty easily because they're gonna be slowed as well. You can also just use a cascade again as soon as the wall drops, and you generally have a pretty long stall time with a Harbor. Switching over towards B. On B you can use a cascade like this one, where you insta stop it in main, or even use a wall from market through main, and then curve it somewhere around here, because the people in main are going to be slowed right here if they're going to walk through the wall or walk through here. And if you have a reveal coming up, for example right there, and you have a Sova who can spam this wall with an Odin, this is really good, because the people are going to be hard. It's going to be harder for the enemies to run away, and you can get more damage off of them. You can also wall off main if you stand right here and then just wall. You can also wall off mid like this, and you create a copy for yourself to hide in and get some free kills off of the enemies. Because if they walk out, they're probably not going to clear you in this copy right here, because they don't think, yeah, there's going to be somebody here. They're just going to walk past and focus on sight, or walk out of main, and you waiting back here can get a lot of kills. Just be aware, your gun can stick out, so I'd recommend you wait like this, because there's most likely nobody coming from behind of you. Let's say you are on a retake with a Harbor. A smoke like this one might seem weird in the big... a wall like this one might seem weird, but it is actually pretty good, because like that you can take front side, even focus on the people in main or lane, and it's generally pretty good to take control of the rest of the side, because your wall drops after some time, but it isn't worth if you don't have like a lot of time left and you're just coming out of CT to use this wall. Harbor is pretty good at cutting off angles of sight, and he's just pretty good in cutting off a sight in certain pieces. For example, if you know they planted here in this cubby, you can use a wall like this one to focus on the people being here on this part of the site. You can then jump down, maybe even start defusing, have teammates holding the enemies, and it's in general pretty good. The same thing also works if you want to take site from right here, for example. Use a wall like this one, and then you can take site here, focus on the people close, focus on the people back here, and focus on the people backside. Harbor is a pretty weird smoker, and in my opinion he's not as good as on other maps on Ascent. He is pretty good at retaking sites, which makes him a valuable pick as a second smoker on this map. I again would recommend to use your bubble to go for the plant or defuse this spike. If you just place it right here, it's gonna be really hard for the enemies to shoot you. Or if they plant it right here and they're deciding to play from spam through this wall right here, you can place a bubble here and go for the defuse. This bubble right here is also pretty good if you're up here and you're trying to protect your teammates that is defusing, you can hide in here and then peek out. It's a pretty strong peek because most of the people don't expect you being up here. Let's switch over towards attack. I feel like Harbor is one of the strongest agents on attack because he can cut off so many sidelines and he has so much good util to get out of a chokehold. Something you can use almost every round if you play a Harbor on this map is a wall down mid. Because like that, you deny the enemies information over mid and the enemies don't know if you're walking down here, if you're walking out of link right there. And it's in general pretty good to take mid control. Let's say you did that in the beginning of the round and now you're going over towards A. You can use a wall either like this one, and then cut it off right here. Or even use it like this one and then even cut off all the parts of heaven to get rid of the heaven angles. This wall, the second one I showed you where it cuts off all of heaven, should be pretty precise, so I'd recommend you practice that in a custom game so it lines up with this part right here. It is pretty hard to get that consistently, that's why Harbor is one of the hardest smokes to play, but if you get that consistently, it is pretty good. To get that in an easier way, you can just look up, because then your wall moves slower and you can smoke more precisely. For example, you look here and then you look up, and it crosses over. Your wall also gets a little shorter, so you gotta be aware of that. So just using a wall like this one is probably the easier way. Like this, you cut off close here, and you also cut off heaven. If you wanna cut off heaven even better, you can use a cascade like this one to cut off all of the heaven angles, and makes it really hard for them to do something against you. If the enemies really like spraying in towards main, you can use your bubble to get out of main. By just throwing it right here, and then crossing out here, crossing out in front of here, having a teammate go out here, focus on the corner here close, even clearing out back here, and even jump peek. You can get a lot of space on the site, and it's pretty easy for you to take the site. The other option you can use a Harbor bubble is right here, if you use it like this to plant, because like this you can't really get sprayed from anywhere, and it's a pretty safe plant. Other options for the wall is a wall like this one in heaven, when you can cut off the people from heaven, and even if they're going out, you can hide behind the wall right here in this little cubby, and sometimes they don't expect you and you can get some free kills. Let's say you have taken A. You can then resmoke heaven with a wall like this one. Just stand right here in the corner and wall like this. The people in heaven that are trying to come out are going to be slowed, and you can even try to jump up here and get a angle either here, hide all the way behind here, and get the free kills on the people coming out because they're most likely not going to look at you. Or you can go under and spray through the boxes right here, through the floor right here, and do a lot of damage on the people coming out. Your ult is also a really good tool to take the site. You can use your ult like this if you stand still and it moves forward slowly. You can use your ult walking backwards and it moves forward even more slowly. Or you can use your ult running forward and your ult is gonna be way faster, and you can like take larger spaces with it. Your ult is really good if you want to take some space or if you want to fake something. Because if you use your ult, you get information on how many players there are, because you see the lightnings coming down on the people. And in general, it is a pretty good tool. You can farm pretty easily because it only uses up 7 ult orbs, and since you are going to be the one that is planting, because you have a ability that can make you plant in a pretty safe way, you can farm up your ult pretty quickly by just farming the orbs, getting plants, maybe getting some kills, and even if you die, it doesn't really matter, you get another ult orb, and you can have your ult up even into the second round already. Let's switch over towards mid. On mid, you can use a wall like this one from a main to cut off short and bottom mid. Like this, taking mid is going to be pretty easy because short is walled off, mid is walled off, and you can then decide after this wall drops to either resmoke here on short with a wall like this, or resmoke bottom mid with a wall like this, and decide to take either mid or short. This is in general pretty good because mid control is a really important part of this map, and you can take a lot of space with it. If you decide to go further in towards mid, you can use another cascade like this one and stop it right here to clear out pizza first, and then go in towards market and use your recharged wall, because at this point your wall should have recharged, to wall off CT. If you decide to go short, you can pretty much do the same thing. you can use a wall right here. And stop the wall, clear out here, close, and then your wall should have recharged. Use wall like this to clear off short and heaven. Switching over towards B. On B, you can use a wall like this one to cut off the people from main to the people that are trying to play aggressive in B main. Like this, the people in B main are gonna be slowed if they are trying to go over here and hold you from here, and you might even be able to peek them earlier than you think. And the people trying to go back are sometimes even gonna walk in towards this wall because it's pretty hard to see with a wall right here, where you have to go out. So they could be trying to get out and then walk into the wall, and they're gonna be an easy kill for your team. A wall like this one even allows you to go over towards this corner and prepare for a really good smoke. You can use the smoke from here and then block off CT to clear off market and CT. You can then use your bubble here close to cross out and go towards lane, because most of the times there's somebody spraying from CT or from market and you're gonna take a lot of damage. With your harbor bubble right here, you have the option to peek out here. This is especially good with a flash, or to just walk towards lane and take side from here. Other options to smoke off, especially good on an eco round, is something like this, where you just take half of the site. You don't even need to go switch, you can then just go side, clear out the people backside, and focus more on that, getting down the plant and getting an easy round. This is really good if you're on eco rounds, because then you mostly have close range weapons, and then you can hide here close, or even hide close here, or have somebody waiting in main for the enemies to either push through the wall right here, and you can get some free kills off of them. This is really good in eco rounds. If you want to re-smoke B, you can use a wall like this one to re-smoke all the important angles, CT and then also market. And you also give the option to your teammate that plays here close in the corner to focus more on the people in market, because he doesn't have to worry about the people peeking out from side, because they can't really see him. Your ult is also pretty good to take B side. You can use your ult from right here and get information on anyone on site, and especially if there are a lot of people in backside, they're going to be stunned because of the ult, because they are going to run in a confined space. If they're trying to peek out, you're going to kill them from lane, and if they're trying to get away from each other, they're most likely going to stun each other by just running into the other stuns. In general, I wouldn't recommend to play a Harbor on Ascent. Ascent is a map made for normal smokers, not for a Harbor or a Viper. Some pro teams try to play a Harbor on Ascent, most notably Paper X, but with their Ascent stats, it doesn't really show that Harbor is a good pick, because they played a really weird comp. I don't think it's worth to use a Harbor on a regular basis on a map like Ascent. If you have another smoker, maybe, but just in general, I wouldn't recommend you to use a Harbor on Ascent. If I had to give Harbor a rating on this map, I would give him the C tier. Harbor is really not good on this map, as I just said. He is probably one of the worst smokes you can play on this map. Viper being just a little bit more worse, and I think you're better off just playing someone else. If you really want to play Harbor on this map, I'd recommend you have a second smoker on your team, because it is pretty hard to place Harbor's wall pretty precisely, and you're gonna struggle with just a Harbor as a smoker. That would be it from me. If you have any questions or suggestions which agents I should play next, write them down in the comments. Also, don't forget to leave a sub and like the video if you enjoyed it. And obviously Twitch, I stream there daily. I really like if you could come over and say hi. I really hope you have a great rest of your day, and see you guys very soon. Bye!